Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's explainer, the discipline engine. We really need to confront a kind of uncomfortable truth right out of the gate here. Think about the biggest goals you have in your life right now. The absolute biggest reason we fall short of those massive, life changing goals, it actually isn't a lack of talent, it isn't a lack of time or bad circumstances, it's a lack of self discipline, period. So today, we're going to unpack the actual science of building an unbreakable discipline engine step by step using habit formation and the daily routines of highly successful people. Let's get right into it. We've all experienced this, right? You set these massive goals at midnight, you're brimming with ambition, literally ready to take on the world. But then, the next morning arrives and you're just stuck. Procrastination sets in hard. You know exactly what you need to do, yet somehow you just can't get yourself to execute. It's this massive, frustrating gap between knowing and doing. And man, it makes us feel like we're just spinning our wheels, just waiting around for some magical spark to finally push us forward. And this brilliantly illustrates the core problem. When we rely on motivation, it's just so fleeting. It's like a balloon that eventually deflates. See, there's this really widespread myth out there that successful people just wake up every single day bursting with motivation. But here's the thing. Motivation is entirely emotion-based. You can't control it. Highly successful people, they do not wait for a spark. Instead, they build a mechanical engine of discipline that forces action, completely regardless of how they feel. This is a huge paradigm shift. Discipline is absolutely not a feeling. It's a system you build. So how do we actually build that engine? Well, first, we have to look at the science of self-sabotage, starting with a concept called decision fatigue. I want you to think of your willpower as a literal, exhaustible battery inside your brain. Every single time you make a choice, what to wear, what to eat, whether to hit that snooze button, you drain a little tiny bit of that battery. This is exactly why famous executives like Steve Jobs wore the exact same outfit every single day. They wanted to save their willpower battery for actual meaningful work. Because if you rely on making constant, agonizing choices all day just to do the right thing, by evening, your battery is completely empty, and your discipline, it totally collapses. Now, what's really interesting about this breakdown is seeing where that willpower battery actually drains. A massive, massive chunk of our daily energy gets siphoned off just fighting social media addiction and chasing instant gratification. I mean, we waste so much precious willpower battling our own urge to procrastinate, or stressing over the fear of failure, or just making entirely meaningless choices. And the harsh reality is, when we exhaust our willpower on all these low-value activities, there is simply nothing left in the tank for the hard work required to achieve those midnight goals we set for ourselves. In this whole willpower drain is deeply tied to a neurochemical called dopamine. Our brains are naturally wired to seek out rewards, and dopamine is what reinforces those habits. But the modern world has completely hijacked this system with cheap dopamine. Think about it. Why do the hard work of going for a run when you can just eat a donut or get a quick notification on your phone? Because these instant gratifications are just so incredibly easy to get, our reward pathways get entirely skewed. To fix this hijacked brain, we absolutely have to establish clear daily goals and routines that reset those pathways, prioritizing long-term wins over those cheap, quick thrills.
So what do the pros do? Highly disciplined people actually engineer their day to do exactly that. They don't just wake up and cross their fingers hoping for a productive morning. No, they wake up with absolute purpose. They immediately fuel their mind by reading and fuel their body with healthy food. They use time blocking so their entire day is mapped out, which completely removes the need to decide what to do next. It's a beautifully cohesive flow, really. These foundational actions create this powerful chain reaction of delayed gratification, building massive momentum before the day is even really started. Let's move to the 2-minute rule and see how this builds into something we can actually use right now. If you're really struggling to get going, just identify the task you're actively avoiding and commit to doing it for just 2 minutes. Seriously, that's it. Because anyone, and I mean anyone, can tolerate 2 minutes of discomfort. After those 2 minutes, you can either stop or just keep going. The really brilliant thing here is that bridging that initial gap, between hesitation and actual action, is always the hardest part. By stripping away distractions and kind of tricking your brain into starting small, momentum almost always takes over. Now, if you want to put this entire process on absolute autopilot, you have to own your morning. Wake up with distinct intent so you know exactly what your day is all about. Then, shock your system with a bit of exercise to naturally spike your dopamine levels in a healthy, sustainable way. From there, immediately devour your hardest, most important task. Just get it out of the way. By putting these high-value tasks at the very start of your day, you drastically reduce that decision fatigue we talked about earlier. You've effectively won the day before your willpower battery has even had a chance to drain.
So the crucial point here is this golden rule used by top performers, the never miss twice rule. It's the number 2. This is a famous framework used by productivity experts and top-tier athletes for one simple reason. Perfection is a toxic myth. Listen, you are going to have a lazy day, you're going to eat a donut, and you will absolutely skip a workout at some point. That's just life. But highly disciplined people know that while missing one day is just a slip up, missing 2 days in a row, that is the start of a new bad habit. Tracking your progress and staying fiercely accountable to this rule ensures a single mistake never snowballs into total failure. Of course, you're going to face traps along the way. We've all been there, and we've identified the most common ones for you here. We don't need to read every single one, but just look at how powerful these pivots are. For instance, if you find yourself sitting around waiting for motivation, the immediate fix is acting anyway, utilizing that 2-minute rule. Or notice how we combat setting unrealistic goals. We scale all the way back to tiny, manageable habits. When you catch yourself comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20, which we all do, pull your focus back and solely track your own progress. You can use this framework to logically self-correct in real time when things get tough. All right, let's put all this theory into practice with a 30-day discipline challenge. On day 1, you just start tiny. Keep it simple. By day 7, you add some accountability. And by day 14, you're refining your routine by stacking those habits together. But I want you to look really closely at day 21. Day 21 is the ultimate make-or-break moment. This is what we call the dip. Your initial excitement is entirely gone, and your hijacked brain is practically screaming for that cheap dopamine. But if you can just push through this specific bottleneck, by day 30, it is no longer a conscious choice. It's a solidified, automatic habit. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with this incredibly empowering reframe. Discipline is a skill, not a talent. You are not born with a set amount of discipline. It's a muscle. It is a system you actively build and strengthen over time. So if you've struggled in the past, please know, it doesn't mean you're inherently flawed. It just means you haven't been taught how to train this specific skill yet. But now you have the toolkit, the science, and the roadmap to take complete control of your life. Which brings us to our final question for you. Which habit will you start today? Seriously, don't wait for tomorrow. Don't wait for some magical Monday. Look at the systems we've outlined here and pick just one tiny thing you can execute on right now. Drop a comment below with the one tiny habit you're going to start today. I'd love to read them. Remember, your future is just the result of your daily habits multiplied by time. So, which future are you choosing today? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and go build that engine.